Hey students, it's Mr. Rink here. Today this is your lesson for day 41. If we could have the teacher please pause the video and please have students write down the title and the objective. Let's pause the video here please. Okay, so what we're doing today is we know how to add and subtract and multiply polynomials, and so now we're going to do polynomial long division. And just something that you should know from before, let's say we had 326 divided by 7. Let's say we had a long division problem like this, right? What did they teach you in grade school? Well, you would do 326, or I'll write a little bit larger for you so you could see it. 326, and then we would do a long division problem that looks like this, divided by 7, right? And we ask ourselves, how many times does 7 go into 3, right? Does it go into 3? No. So then we have to think a little bit bigger. How many times does 7 go into 32? Well, it goes in 4 times, right? Because 7 times 4 is 28. So then we would write the 4 above the 2. And we do a subtraction problem. 32 divided by minus 28 is 4. And then we bring down the next digit, which is 6 here. Then we ask ourselves, how many times does 7 go into 46, right? And it goes in, of course, 6 times, because 7 times 6 is 42. We subtract, and then we get a last answer. And there aren't any more digits, so we say that 4 is our remainder. So then your answer would be 46 remainder of 4, right? Or another way you could write it is 46, and you just put your remainder in the numerator and the divisor in the denominator, and that's your other way you could write it. So this is really the answer, 46 and 4/7. Same idea we're going to do today, but we're going to do it with polynomials. We're going to spend a few days on this, so don't get too overwhelmed, but we will try to get you through this as much as possible. Okay? So let's have the students write this problem down really quick, just a quick reminder. So let's have the teacher please pause the video here. Okay, so students should have written this down. So I'm going to go to the next slide here. These are the steps, so students should write this down. So let's have the teacher please pause the video here again. Students, please write this down. Alright, so these are basically the steps. You want to write these down, but this is the same idea. We're going to, as long division, we're going to identify the dividend and divisor. We're going to set up a long division problem. Step 2, divide, and if a remainder exists, we're going to leave it over the divisor. So that's just the technical words for what we did back here. All of this, okay? So, but here we go. I'll show you how to do numbers 1 and 2. Alright, so pencils down. I'm only going to show you a couple examples on the video, and then I'm going to have the students do a few examples in their group. I'll show you the answers. Okay, so number 1. Okay, eyes up on the screen, please. So you need to make sure, the key to this is just organization. So remember I talked to you about descending order? So we got this big polynomial being divided by another polynomial, right? Or binomial. So, but do you notice how the exponents are descending? Right? And this is x to the first, by the way, right? So you want to stay organized, and we know that our binomial, we have a x to the first here, and it's being divided, or we have this subtracted by 10 here on this binomial. So in order to do this, just stay organized, okay? This one's already organized for us, and all of the ones you do today will be organized. So we don't need to worry about any of that. So what I'm going to do is show you how to divide this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to set up a long division problem, just like that old school problem I showed you a few minutes ago. So we're going to just rewrite this. I'm just going to write all of the first polynomial down, okay, into its own divisor. And basically I just copied this first thing and put it inside here, okay? the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the divisor on the outside. So I'm going to put this right here, okay? And that's what you do to set up your problem. This is just like before, okay? This is where you need to think now. We're going to start with this first term. We got x cubed, okay? I want to look at this first term here, x, and this is x to the first power. I ask myself, what do I multiply x with to get x to the third power? Okay, I know that I'm going to multiply it with x squared. Okay, so I'm going to write down x squared above here. And you notice I wrote it not over here, but to the right, because I have x squared term here. And remember, I talked about being organized. Alright, if you could stay organized, you will be successful in this unit. Okay, so again, I figured out as x squared because I asked myself, what do I multiply x with to get x cubed? Okay, x squared. Alright, so now I take x squared and I ask myself, what's x squared times x? Well, that is x cubed. Then I have to still multiply. What's x squared times negative 10? Negative 10x squared. Okay, now I'm going to take parentheses and put it around what I just did, okay? And I'm going to put a minus sign because I have to do that, alright? I know that x cubed minus x cubed is going to be 0. So I know I'm done with that. Then I'm going to do the next one. What's negative 16x squared minus negative 10x squared? Well, that is going to be negative 6x squared, right? Because I know that negative 16 minus a negative 10 is like saying negative 16 plus 10. Okay? Then I'm done with that first step. Then I bring down the next term, which is my 69x. I want to bring that down here, okay? So I'm going to bring that down. And I'm going to start this again. I'm going to ask myself, what do I multiply x with to get negative 6x squared? Okay? I know that I have to multiply x with negative 6x. So I'm going to write down negative 6x. I'll use a different color so you can see this whole step work out. Okay, so I'm going to take negative 6x now and I'm going to multiply. What's negative 6x times x? Negative 6x squared. Then I do this again. What's negative 6 times negative 10? Positive 60x. Okay? Put parentheses around this whole bottom. Put a subtraction sign. And then I subtract. Okay? So, I have these two terms. When I subtract them, negative 6x squared minus itself. You see how it just kind of cancels out? The next one we got positive 69 minus positive 60x. That's going to be 9x. Okay? Then I got one more term, negative 90. Bring that down. We're doing this one more time now. Okay, so I'm asking myself, what do I multiply x with to get 9x now? Positive 9. So I'm going to write down positive 9, and I'll use a different color. You see how I use pink here. Positive 9 times x is positive 9x. Positive 9 times negative 10 is negative 90. Put parentheses around the terms. Put a subtraction sign. 9x minus 9x is 0. Negative 90 minus negative 90, or itself, is 0, right? So that means I don't have a remainder, which is awesome. So now my final answer is just going to be what I have up here. I'm going to rewrite it down here, and I'll use just one color. We got x squared minus 6x plus 9, and that's your first one. There is no remainder, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay? So let's have the teacher pause the video here. Let's have, when the teacher pauses, let's have the students talk. I want, let's see, today is Monday, so let's have ones teach the rest of the group about how to do number 1, okay? After ones are done teaching, let's have the group members all write this down. And if there isn't a 1, let's have a 3 talk, okay? So let's pause the video here now. Alright, so students should have written this problem down and discussed it, of course. So let's do number 2 now. One more time. So number 2, we got this long problem divided by a binomial. Okay, so set up your problem like so. I'm just copying this whole polynomial in descending order. And I know it's in descending order because the largest exponent is 4, and it goes 3, 2, x to the first, and then this is 8, which is our constant, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, then I'm going to divide all of that by the divisor of x minus 2. Alright, I'm going to do this one more time for you. Here we go. Okay, first thing I want to do, ask myself, x times what is x to the 4th? I'll go a little bit faster, okay? It's x to the 3rd. Okay, x to the 3rd times x is x to the 4th. Okay, x to the 3rd times negative 2 is negative 2x to the 3rd. Parentheses, minus sign. These two terms, x to the 4th minus x to the 4th, cancels out. X to the 3rd minus 2x to the 3rd is going to be positive 3x to the 3rd, right? When we subtract the negative, we're really adding, right? Bring down the next term, 2x squared. Then we got asking ourselves, what do I multiply x with to get positive 3x cubed? I'm going to multiply that by positive 3x squared. Using a different color here so you see the steps. Positive 3x squared times what is, or times x is positive 3x cubed. Okay, then I do that again. Positive 3x squared times negative 2 is negative 6x squared. Put parentheses around this. And a subtraction sign. Okay, ask myself, what's 3x cubed minus itself is 0, right? Positive 2x squared minus negative 6x squared is, well, when we subtract a negative, we're really adding, so it's going to be positive 8x squared. Bring down the next term, negative 24x. Okay, I ask myself, x times what is positive 8x squared? That's going to be positive 8x. Okay, and then we're doing this again. Positive 8x times x is going to be positive 8x squared. Okay, you see how I'm writing it down here now? Then we got positive 8x times negative 2 is going to be I'm sorry about that. Tech fail. Fat fingers. Sorry about that. Okay, positive 8x times negative 2 is going to be positive, oh, I'm sorry, went back too far, or too little. Okay, so what we just did, positive 8x times x is going to be 8x squared. Okay, then we got positive 8x times negative 2 is going to be negative 16x. Okay, so you can see that this is what I just did. Sorry about that, kids. Okay, so we're going to add parentheses and a subtraction sign, asking ourselves, what's 8x squared minus 8x squared? It's 0, right? And then we have, what's negative 24x minus negative 16x? Well, that is positive 8x, right? Bring down my last term, which is positive 8. Okay, I'm just bringing this all the way down. And you see how I'm staying organized. I'm trying to make sure everything is in the same line. Okay, last time, asking myself, x times what is positive 8x? Well, that's positive 8, so I'm going to write that at the top right here. You see I'm writing right up here. Okay, then I ask myself, positive 8 times x is positive 8x, and then positive 8 times negative 2 is negative 16, right? Now, this one is, you'll notice, at this point you're like, well, it's not the exact same answer as my last term. You get a remainder, right? Because I know that these two, 8x minus 8x is 0, right? But 8 minus a negative 16, it's like I'm adding 16, it's going to be 24, and that's my remainder. So when I do that, I want to make sure I did my steps right. So I know I did them right, so I reviewed them. So what do I do now? Well, now I just write my final answer just like I did on number 1. I'm going to write down x to the third, which, in case you're wondering, I'm just copying everything that's up here. Okay, x to the third plus 3x squared plus 8x plus 8. And watch me do my remainder. Since this is a positive 24, I'm going to write down, I'm going to add it, right? Just like we had in the problem we did earlier. I think I said like 47 and 4/7 or something like that. On the first page, I forget what I wrote, but now we're gonna add the 4/7, but in this case it's 24, right? So we're adding 24 in the numerator, and our divisor here is not 7 but x minus 2. So that's gonna go down here, okay? So I'm gonna put it over 24x minus 2, okay? Yeah, that's a huge problem. So that's the hardest problem you're gonna deal with today. So again, let's have students pause and let's have twos talk now. Twos are going to teach the rest of the group. If there isn't a 2, let's have a 4 talk. Okay, teaching the rest of the group. And when the teacher pauses the video, and then once you're done talking, let's write this down. So let's have the teacher please pause the video here. Okay, great. So there's a lot more problems we could do that I could teach you, but I'd rather you practice, okay? So let's just have you do a little closure here. Actually, yeah, let's have you do a little closure here. What do we learn? How do we do that? Explain the steps one more time to your group members. Teacher, please pause the video here and have the students talk to each other for about a minute. Alright kids, so I want to give you some practice. So here are some problems. You're not going to do all of them. Okay, so let's just have you do a few of these so that you get comfortable with them. Okay, so let's have you do one. Let's have you do these, okay? Just 3 problems. I think you could do these 3, okay? They get a little bit harder. And you know what? I'll make it. Yeah, let's have you do these 3. Okay. So teacher, please pause the video here. Give the students about 10 minutes, and just monitor them to make sure they're on task. And then students, you'll see the answers here. Okay. So let's please pause the video. Students working also in your groups. Okay. So I want to hear math chat. There should be a lot of talking, a lot of helping each other out. Okay. So let's pause the video here. Alright, so video is now playing again, so here we go. Here are the answers, and I know it's going to show more answers, but you're just doing 1, 5, and 7. Okay, so don't worry about these other ones. I'm going to erase them. Okay, so alright, so check your work. Everyone's checking their work. This is a hard lesson. We're going to spend more time on this tomorrow, and I'll be here tomorrow. I think I should be here tomorrow. But yeah, make sure that you have written this down and check your work. We'll talk about this. And if you need help, come to me at 5th period. Come ask for help, okay? That concludes the lesson.